Guys, there's like less than a minute left of 2024. Come here. 3, 2, 1.
Can you see the way they were slowly edging out of the frame in the last couple of seconds? So men have spent this entire decade, let alone past year, telling us that men cannot naturally be friends with women and men don't want to be friends with women. Not just because women suck and then we don't have the right hobbies for them and we don't send to them enough. They don't know what friendship is in the context of female friendship, how we help each other for absolutely no gain apart from seeing our friends happy. They spent this entire time telling us that they can't be friends with us and they don't want to be friends with us. But now there are guys in the comments who want us to believe that this man was just looking to be friends with these women. You can see that big wide open spaces. Not just other women were there were thousands, let me say hundreds of men there as well. Why did he not go and make friends with those men? Because they don't need male friends for hugs. They don't need male friends for kissing. They don't need male friends to boost their endorphins and their happiness level. If you remember what I've said about women and men on this page, what I mean and what I've said when men are close to women and hug women, they also get a rush of endorphins. They feel happier just by way of being close to you. Just by being close to you. That's why men want to get married to women, because you'll take over his medical charts and be making appointments for him so he won't die. A man in the comments just said, a man in the comments in the last screenshot said that these women are essentially childish for propping up a camera and squealing like, I can't remember the animal, just squealing like, I don't know, an animal that squeals over fireworks. But then men will say men enjoy the simple pleasures in life. When men link up, what are they doing? I'll keep citing this video because I can't remember where it was, but I saw it on Twitter. Men were linking up to fill a cup with water. They were putting little bits of water to see who would fill it to the top, and then they wanted to fill it perfectly to the top, and when they did, they were cheering like babies. Men are allowed to do things like that, but women aren't allowed to do anything like this. Actually go out into the world and just be in the world and have fun with each other. Men don't like it when you travel. That's why they say that, because they don't want you to experience the world, let alone the country you even live in, let alone different parts of the country you live in, because they want to be the ones who show you that. That's why he doesn't want you to know what a 5-star restaurant is like, because he wants to constantly be taking you to fast food restaurants for the rest of your life, because that's what he can constantly afford. I mentioned finances in a video where the sound got taken away, so I'll probably post that on YouTube, and my YouTube is in my bio. Men don't like you when you look quote-unquote expensive, because they know they can't quote-unquote afford you. You look expensive just by way of being a woman, but they categorize women into non-expensive women and expensive women. So they call you bad bees or sluts, and then they call the other women broke women. Men always say they'll accept a broke woman, a woman who can't go anywhere, a woman who hasn't seen anything. Usually those are teenagers, usually those are children, and that's why they're constantly fighting for their rights to marry and be in relationships with barely legal teenagers and children. You think this isn't where it's coming from? It's literally finances, and then they'll turn around and complain about capitalism. A lot of guys in the comments were talking about, it's tradition to hug people at the Happy New Year, right? It's tradition to hug people, because usually people have like New Year's Eve parties. If you're going to a club or a party that's by people you don't know, right? Sometimes things turn a little more raunchy. Sometimes people kiss too. It's tradition apparently to kiss in the Happy New Year. So should she have kissed him? Should those girls have kissed him too? Because it looked like he was expecting a hug. He looked like he was expecting attention. Does he know them? Because the first thing that one of the girls said was like, who are you? When he just magically appeared like the genie out of the lamp. And this person down here says, interesting, they never seek hugs from male. That's by design. Like I mentioned before, and we need to have a serious talk about friendship. Like I've said, men have spent the entire decade trying to justify why they hit on their girlfriends, because they have concluded that men cannot be friends with women. But the thing is, when men draw conclusions, they also want the opposite to exist and be implemented. That's why a lot of men have this idea of saying multiple things that contradict each other, but they don't think that matters because they still want to get what they want. When men say women are whores, does not mean they shouldn't still be able to be with or sleep with those whores. And you're confused. You're like, but I thought you didn't like whores. It's not about liking them. It's about what they can do for them. So we need to start asking them why they think this way. Friendships for men is boys and men they can sit with, watch football, harass women with, and swap advice on how to assault, manipulate, and exploit the women in their lives. And sometimes, occasionally, they make TikToks where they do some dead dances. But when it's women and their friendships, it's women driving to each other to appointments, driving each other up and down the country, going on trips, shopping with each other, going to the cinema. If boys go to cinemas with each other, they're throwing popcorn at each other, they're playing with the seats, they're running up and down. Girls are sitting there. Mostly they'll probably chat before the film starts, and then when it's silence when the film starts. That's what friendships are like for the respective, well, typically for the respective sexes. And I'm strictly talking women and men, or cisgendered women and men, because that's the culture that we have curated, or the culture that's fallen in our lap. And the thing is, we have gathered as women and people who aren't cisgendered straight men that this is the way the world is, and therefore we either need to make it work for us, or we need to just sit in this and try and discuss why it's like this. But the thing is, we always take this direction where we're always talking about how to make men better people for the world, and not only that, romantic partners for the rest of us. You shouldn't want men like this who are willing to bypass the boundaries of strangers, because like I say, you never know. The woman might be an axe murderer. Why are they feeling so comfortable coming up to random women they don't know? She could be a serial killer, but you're not afraid of that. Maybe, just maybe, it's because women are more afraid of men than men are afraid of women, and that's why they can infiltrate your space. They feel like it's fair, one man against 3 women. You could probably take him, but the thing is, you shouldn't have to be on guard all the time. And then they start accusing us of having no game. They were celebrating with each other in the new year. They weren't thinking about random guys being their boyfriends or sleeping with random men they don't even know. But that's constantly what's on men's minds. Men will see a happy woman in a happy relationship, and he'll be like, oh, I wonder how many men she slept with. Can you see the mental illness? I've made videos on this, like those women from Australia, from the, I think it's a makeup company, women posting, these Mormon women doing a like pregnancy roulette. Women's joy isn't something that makes men happy unless she's expressing this joy that she's feeling is because of a man, and specifically that man. Because like I say, not all men get upset at women's joy, but there comes a time where a man will get upset at something women or a woman is doing because he feels as though he should be the reason for that thing, or he wants to be a part of it. He wants to be the reason why. Most men are like this. I say a solid 90% of them are like that. No matter how good they are, or no matter how good you think they are, there's always something that's going to annoy them when it comes to women, because they believe they're entitled to women, and they believe they're in charge and in control, or they should be in control of women and families. We are telling men they can hug each other. They don't want to. There's no endorphins that are released when they hug each other, but then they want to turn around and say women are heartless and that we're mean to each other, we hate each other more than men hate women. It's a lie just to divide us. When I opened TikTok this morning, I saw a video of a man making a list, and a few of you have reposted it. He was making a list of like, if I was a girl, this is what I would want in a man. First of all, women date men, girls date boys, or that's where it should be. Second of all, we need to know what's happening here. I'm not saying people were wrong for reposting it, but we need to understand what kind of position we're in with men right now, especially following things like the news coming out of Afghanistan and the recent election they've had in the US, and the way women's rights are going along across the world and the way it's under attack. Men have moved on from the blatantly, I'm going to murder you and assault you. Even though they're still doing it, they're not expressing how they want to attack women right now, currently, from what I've seen. Now they've moved on to women need us. They're talking about gender roles. What they're trying to do is make us feel more comfortable with the position they wanted to put us in. So we'll put our guard down and start trusting them again. And then more and more men and quote unquote male feminists are going to come out with posts like that, talking about, I understand the plight of women. And then you're going to see women in the comment section being like, oh, what a good man, what a king. We're going backward.